On the 10th day of Christmas, my brew must get to me. Oh, a Chuck Gosnell Pro-Am with Fair State.
Mango Brett Blonde, bitches.
Oh, snap. Chuck, tell us what this beer is, what it was, what it is on a Pro-Am scale, and what we're about to drink.
So Fair State Brewing in Minneapolis does a homebrew competition every year for all of their members. It's a co-op based brewery, so there's a group of members and they all enter in beers each summer. And my beer happened to win.
Boom.
And the prize for winning was they scaled my beer up in their small system in Minneapolis. And the beer,
how many barrels is that?
I think it's 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 7 barrels. And the beer was basically a Belgian blonde, that had a bunch of mango added to it and is 100% Brettanomyces fermented.
And like a bunch of people from the brewery judge this in the backyard, or like how is this judged?
I believe it is last year's winner. It is, and then staff from the brewery. So the brewery staff, taproom staff.
Yep. Wow. Yep. Okay.
Yep. And this was the 2000. We're on 2019 right now. This is the
December 2017
winner.
And you brewed this.
This is the 2017 winner. Summer of 2017 was a competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got back to me, and we brewed this early 2018.
Yeah.
It first came on tap midway through 2018. Summer of 2018.
Mixed culture. Yep,
Mixed culture. And then recently came back out on tap in the tap room at Fair State.
Oh, I didn't know that. So it's been out once.
Yes, for mixed culture.
Kind of then held.
Yep.
And then put out again.
Yep.
Hi, Brian Adams.
Oh, we on camera?
Sneaky Brian Adams. Hey.
So, talk to me about the homebrew version and then the brewery version.
Okay, so the homebrew version was I was really into Belgian beers at the time, and I was making triples, I was making doubles, I was making quads, and I kind of came across the Belgian blonde style, and I made a beer like that, and then I was also kind of getting into the Venn diagram, the overlapping circle of sour beer brewing at the time, and so I decided to kind of meet in the middle and make a sour Belgian blonde that I then proceeded to kind of put in a carboy. I made the beer, put in the carboy. I forgot about it out of more laziness than anything. And then I kind of came back to it. And it was also about the time that mangoes were in season. So I bought a bunch of mangoes at the co-op, cut them up, put them in this beer, which was a giant pain in the ass. And then actually forgot about the beer with fruit on it for way too long, like months. And I normally fruit beer for a month or less. And came back to the beer, and it was pretty mango, but not mango enough. So then I went out and I just bought like the mango chunks in the freezer section of the grocery store. And I put the chunks of mango back on top of the beer after racking it off of the old fruit. So basically double fruited it.
Damn.
And then shortly thereafter, about a month after the fresh edition of mango, bottle conditioned, packaged. And then on top of that, it was probably another 6 or 8 months before I even entered it into the Fair State competition.
So we're talking at this point, we're 18 months into a process of a beer.
So how did they replicate that on a professional scale? Which I also know didn't follow a timeline per se. It was very much a like, when it's ready is when we do it kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I was very honest with Nico, the brewer at Fair State. Like I emailed the guy and I'm like, dude, I entered a beer that's 18 months. I think it was 20 months at the time.
Yeah.
This is an old beer. If I understand if you don't want to tie up a tank, if you don't want to get as involved as we did with this, and make something else or make something similar, that's totally fine. And Nico was like, "No, send me your recipe. We'll make it on the system. We'll do what we got to do. We're not using whole mango. We're going to use puree, which is pretty commonplace." And we went and brewed the beer, I kind of fell out of contact with Nico.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right? But I mean, I think that's the beauty of a beer like this. You just kind of forget about it. Whether it's at home or if Nico's got the space to just like forget about it on a bigger scale. The beauty is like you brewed this almost more than a year ago.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah. It'll be 2 years in February.
Right.
So almost 2 years.
So it's very much a lesson on like when a beer tells you it's ready versus you telling it, right?
Well, and that's yeah, you're absolutely right about that, and that's like the lesson of Brettanomyces, especially. You know, Saccharomyces we kind of have tamed into a yeast that will turn around a beer in the predictable, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever week timeline we're looking at. It's very predictable. It's very repeatable. Brettanomyces, it's kind of more like, well, it's like that Thug Life cat, knocking.
Well, and
cups off the counter or whatever.
And Chuck
told let you know when it's ready.
And Chuck told us that he won this contest. And Chuck is a little modest. He's like, well, I don't want to bother Nico. Like, maybe it's just not going to work out. Like, maybe it didn't come out. Maybe it's not a good beer.
I've poured enough down the drain.
Right.
As a home brewer, it's like, if this beer ended up being, like, not working out, it's fine. Like, I get it. I know it happens, And he was like, no. It's not ready yet.
So tell us the Fair State version of this beer.
The Fair State version of this beer, as far as the recipe goes, it is literally scaled from the actual like malt and hop ingredients. It's literally scaled from the same recipe that I presented to Nico and everything like that. They actually went out and got like the nice Belgian malt that I use. I think Dingman's Pale is the primary malt in this beer. They actually went out. It's not a malt that they have in their inventory, but they went out and sourced it. That was really cool. And then the Brettanomyces is from BSI, I think, and mine is from white yeast. But other than that, it's the same strain of Brettanomyces. Yeah. And then the only difference in terms of the fruit is the mango's puree versus the whole or chunk mango that I used.
So what do you get? Like when you've had this in a can or off tap, like how mind blowing is that?
For me, like especially as a person that makes a ton of fruit and sour beer, for a beer has this amount of age on it and to still have that mango character is really cool. Like, I mean, it's really cool. And in terms of how it presents itself now versus what I remember the beer, which is actually almost 4 years ago since the last time I had that beer, I think it comes pretty close to the mark. I mean, I'm sure it's got its own variation, but it has this pleasant tartness. It's not very lactic. It's not that lactic sourness, but it's still got a bit of sour, and I don't really know if it's from the mango or the Brett, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm fine with the balance of the beer. It still has that mango skin character, and it's sneaky for this is like a 8.5% beer, 8% beer.
But it's sneaky clean too. Like,
you don't know you're drinking 8%
clean
beer. Yeah.
Like, this is like, if you're in Minneapolis and you have time to go down and get this is sneaky clean. And crazy sneaky clean.
Sneaky clean.
Like, and what does it feel like?
Squeaky clean, shadier cousin.
No, it's not like this.
That's my handle in
it's
the dark.
Not like
that's my handle in the
Mr.
dark
Clean,
web, by the way.
Sneaky Clean. It's like Mr.
Squeaky clean.
But my next question is what is it like as a home brewer and walking in and your name's on like people, his name is on the board. Like, you walk into the brewery and it says Mango Brett with collaboration from Chuck Gosnell.
And people are like, who's what?
Like, what is it like to walk into a brewery?
Is Chuck Gosnell? Is that a Converse offshoot?
I like to think I'm humble in that regard. Like, I don't really go in and be like, that's my beer. Although I'm totally lying if I did. If I
right, and like,
I'm gonna take a picture of that because that's probably not gonna happen again. Like, it's really cool.
It feels cool as hell.
It's almost philanthropic, right? So you're making a beverage to share with other people. Like, it's kind of like you're giving your recipe, your process, everything like that to them more than just like the brewery. Like, you're sharing something that you made, and that's really cool.
You'll share the homebrew version?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
shopandbrew.com/recipes. I don't know. I have no idea what the hell is going on, man. This is not. Where should I go? This day of Christmas is Absolutely. Cray.
He peed, y'all.